I've been taking my time, taking all of your time, taking all of your time.
Hey, my trendies, trendsetters, and my trendy tribe. Mic check, mic check, 1 2 1 2. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me make sure. Mm-mm-mm. Okay, thank you, Terry T, baby. All right, so I'm gonna read this warning, and I'll try to. Well, I don't know how often I have be able to have the warning up, but definitely. Oh, you know what? I might. Do I have a banner for sensitive content? Yes, I do. Okay. So trigger warning. This discusses multiple sensitive topics. This is about a 10-year-old girl named Breasia Terrell. She's from Iowa, and this involves her stepdad. And we're going all the way through this one. Here for Hot Tea put this on my radar, and some of you have already seen the story. So it's we said we start covering these things, so y'all know, like it's very clear that it will be definitely a trigger warning. It is not like I believe it was Nakia's story. It's not gonna be that one because Nakia, as far as I know, they're still looking for Nakia. So please make sure you're able to handle it, and I definitely understand if you're not. I'm gonna do quick greetings, and then we're gonna go start with the story to make sure I can get all the details I wanted to share with y'all on this one, and I also will share my thoughts before we start going through the pieces of the story and the case. And all right, so hello, Diva Divine. So Diva Divine said, "Hey, Trin, I watched this trial and it was bizarre. I think that his girlfriend should have been charged as well." Okay, very interesting. Hey, Jesse Bradley Lewis. Hey, Kat. Hey, Danny, my PR queen. Thank you for being here, part of the Mod Squad. Hey, April. Hey, Norma Chapman. Daphne Brown, Cynthia Arrington, Rhonda F., Miss Cheryl from Seattle, Ebony Dancer. Oh, is my name Giggle now? I love it. Hey, Red Ann. She said, "Hey, trending." Hey, Red Ann. Hey, Terry T, baby. Hey, Miss Main Event, Sharice Christian. Hopefully I'm not Immaculate Davis. Thank you for letting me know you can hear me. Hey, Miss Denise. All right. Also, as we go through this, please, censor the language. Don't put plain certain words in the chat. Also, be mindful that someone's family may have gone through this. They may have gone through something like this. So please be mindful of how you comment in the chat, and later on, if you're in the replay gang, how you leave a comment. Okay. Let me give my thoughts first. So, first of all, I want to say that it always, and see, this is where it gets to where I'm not trying to be the person that's already down. And when I'm talking about being the person that's already down, like, like the mom, right? The mom who has already suffered the loss, I'm not trying to pile it on, but I also think that the only way you can talk about awareness is where there's cases like this where it's like, please don't just let your children be overnight at people's houses, and especially not even their biological parents' house, and then not a parent that apparently has a history as a registered sex offender, from what I saw. So I need parents like this to be more protective of their kids. um it's just like, I do see that not all the time. Obviously, there's plenty of parents that are very protective. They don't even do sleepovers and things like that. But a lot of times it does seem like parents, because they get into a relationship, and this couple wasn't even in a relationship anymore, and they're just letting their kids be with people they have no real connection to and things like that. So it's disappointing, because I'm thinking of the child that can't say anything for themselves. Like, they're going where they're told to go, yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir, no sir. And it's like, you just want the parents to do better by their children. And and it's beyond Breachia's parent, but I'm just saying that's honestly what I feel about it. Is like, come on. And that's kind of where I'm at. I'm like, come on. I still have empathy for her, even as I'm like, come on. But I'm like, the kids, the adults have to protect the kids. So all right, let's get into it. We are going from basically the beginning to the end on this one. So I will try to put up little things to say who this is you're looking at if it doesn't clearly explain it. But we're about to get started. I'm changing my audio from my normal mic to where you can hear the audio better from the news stories we're about to watch. Okay, so here we go. Let me see here. Mm-mm-mm. Oh, and this starts July 2020, and we're gonna get up to 2023, fall of 2023, I believe. But this is starting in July of 2020. All right. Oh, let me read this to y'all first. Okay, so this story had come out in 2020. It said, urgent missing after 10-year-old vanishes in the night. Tip leads police to search lagoon and apartment of registered sex offender. Police are offering a $3,500 reward for information leading to Breasia Terrell, who is reportedly partially deaf and has trouble with her vision. Police, family, and concerned neighbors are desperately searching for a missing 10-year-old girl who vanished in Davenport, Iowa last week. According to KWQC, Breasia Terrell was last seen in the early hours of Friday morning at the 2700 block of East 53rd Street in Davenport. Breachia's grandmother, Donita Gardner, told the Quad City Times that Breasia had gone to stay at the home of Henry Dinkins on Thursday night with her cousin, who was reportedly Dinkins' son. The little girl had vanished by Friday morning. Dinkins is a registered sex offender with a criminal history. Breachia's family reportedly asked police to search I'm going to pronounce this wrong. Feshberry Park and a lagoon at Credit Island after they heard a tip that Dinkins mentioned something about Mother Goose. According to the Quad City Times, there is a large Mother Goose structure at the entrance to the park where police and volunteers were seen scouring the area on Friday. Okay. Okay, so first, this is going to be when the police came on to update after they had been searching like the week prior, 2 weeks prior. So this is where we're starting. And I'll come on if I have to explain anything, but we're about to go ahead and get started.
That we found out right away related to this, that we knew that it was something that we really need to get on right away and get more assets involved. Not to be, I know I'm not being real specific with that, but I really intentionally, I'm going to leave some of those things out. But it was things that our investigators found very early on in the disappearance, and that we wanted to activate more assistance.
We've been focusing on Henry Dinkins. Is there other people of interest or other people you're looking at, or is he the main person right now that we're looking at?
So we're focusing on him because that's the main focus. But I'll also tell you, in the investigation, we don't leave anybody out, whether it's a person or a lead, a trail. If we go where the investigation takes us. So certainly our mind isn't made up by any means, but we definitely wanted to get that information out to the community because it's a strong enough lead that we need our community to help us with anything that they saw during that time frame.
Can you tell us anything more about where your investigation is right now? I mean, it seems like there's been a couple different phases. Can you elaborate on what you guys are looking at today over the comments?
Yeah, so I'll just be real general. We're checking out a lot of different tips. So we're checking out different location things. Like Special Agent in Charge Johnson talked about is we're doing a lot of stuff with different technical analysis with the assistance from the FBI and also our partners at DCI. We're doing a lot of interviews, search warrants, just a lot involved with this case. So hopefully that helps with that question. One more question. Yes, sir.
Has the family been cooperative the whole time?
Well, we're definitely focusing on family and definitely interviewing family members. I think the cooperation level, that's something that may come out later on. Anything you want to add, especially?
Okay. Just yeah. The importance of the public and the information that we can obtain. Again, this reward is our message to the public that we need any and all additional information and tips like we always do. This case, we can only work with the information and intelligence that we have and with the searches and the analysis that we can conduct. So we're counting on the public.
Yeah, and I'll just add one more thing to that. Our community here in Scott County and also in Clinton County, they have been amazing throughout this whole thing. We've had a lot of contact with a lot of community members in various different for various different means, and they have been amazing. We really need that to continue. And if people at home are checking their home videos for anything that could have happened during that time frame involving either of those vehicles or Mr. Dinkins, all of that stuff is really important to us, and we're getting a lot of information from our community. So that's why it's important for me as the chief to come out here in front of all of you again today, and to let the community know, one, thank you, but to also let the community know, please keep that stuff coming in. Nothing's too small. Our investigators and the FBI and DCI are all working through everything we get from our community members, and it's really vitally important for this particular case. So yep, the time frame is July 9th at 10 p.m. To the following day, July 10th at noon. So that's that critical time frame that we've narrowed down for the community, looking for Mr. Dinkins or those vehicles that he's associated with. So thank you very much. We will continue to update you all as this moves forward. And I can't tell you enough how much we appreciate all of your help during this endeavor as well, because getting that message out is critically important for us. So thank you all.
Okay, I'm back on for a second just to say that, yes, Miss Denise, you're correct. It was her brother that was there with her, not her cousin. I just wanted to show the stories, how they came out in real time. So I don't know if just this source got it wrong, but yeah, it was the little girl, Breasia, was staying over with her brother, not her cousin, because that was her, I'm air quoting, stepdad, and it was her biological brother's biological father. So yes, but I just wanted to read it as they wrote it though. But yes, as it's going to come up, it'll mention her brother and everything. Also, was there anything else I saw that I wanted? Oh, I sped up the videos to 1.25. So if sometimes the mannerisms seem a little unnatural, it's slightly sped up to 1.25, just so you know. All right. So that was July 22nd, 2020. And then now we're going to November. We're skipping to November 14th, 2020, but we will skip kind of, I don't know, I don't want to say back, but we're going to be going around because we're also going to look at pieces of the interrogation, and we're going to look at the body cam footage of when the cops first came to talk to the mom and the air quote stepdad. So we're also going to look at that. But right now, this is November 14th, 2020 from this news source. And it's titled, Breasia Terrell, Walk Brings Hope and Awareness for Missing Girl.
Since a 10-year-old girl disappeared in Davenport, the family of Breasia Terrell is making sure that she's at the forefront of our minds. She was last seen on 53rd Street, July 10th. Today, her family held a walk at Jersey Meadows Apartments, close to where Breasia was last seen. Local 4's Ryan Risky joins us live in the studio after speaking with Breasia's mother. Ryan, what was today like for her and the rest of the family?
Eric, it's now been 127 days since Breasia Terrell disappeared, and for the walk today, her mother, Aisha Langford, has returned to the spot where her daughter was last seen.
And the last place I seen her was actually just back here, which I actually be here on her birthday, December 4th, too, as well, with some balloons and things from where I last physically seen her at back here.
This morning, Aisha Langford and her family went out to Jersey Meadows Apartments to join in on a walk for her missing daughter, Breasia Terrell. Dozens of people came out to make sure that Breasia is still fresh in everyone's mind.
I definitely appreciate them out here taking the time and the effort to actually put in the work out here with the t-shirts, the hats, the posters. You know, my family behind me, we also bought ours because, I mean, we definitely standing with them for sure. You know, it's still, where's Breasia, and bring her home.
Coming back to the spot where her daughter was last seen gave Langford some chills.
It definitely made me nervous. I mean, my stomach, you know, it definitely kind of bubbled a little bit because, I mean, to come back to this place after 127 days is definitely rough. But, I mean, I'm here because the community gathered together and, you know, we're actually showing our support as well.
Langford still remembers the last conversation she had in person with Breasia.
She was telling me that she was learning how to be an AT&T agent because Andrea, you know, she's an AT&T agent and she was pretty excited about being a worker when really she just got an inside of things, you know, with the Bluetooth and everything like that. And, you know, she had told me that she had loved me and good night.
As 4 long months have passed, Langford is still looking for answers.
But they're still pretty much investigating. I'm still sending letters out to both Dinkins and Culverson, you know, to see if, you know, one of them are willing to sit down and meet with me and talk to me on what actually took place July 9th and July 10th when Breasia was last there.
Another walk for Breasia will be held tomorrow at Vanderveer Park in Davenport. In the studio, Ryan Risky, Local 4 News.
Thanks for the update, Ryan. Now,
Your mom? Okay. How do you spell it?
AISHIA.
Last name?
Langford, LANKFORD.
Date of birth? Address? Phone number? And Henry lives here.
Yeah, I guess so. This is where he told me to come.
Okay.
He don't even know how long she's even been gone.
Yeah. What's your daughter's name?
Breasia, BREA.
EA.
SIA.
BREASIA?
Yes.
Okay.
Terrell, TERRELL.
Okay. What's your middle initial?
D.
Her date of birth?
12/4/09.
Okay. What's up, Henry? So when was the last time you saw her?
She was in the house.
Yeah, when was the last time you saw her?
9:30.
Last night?
9:30.
Okay. Okay.
With him.
Okay. When was the last time you saw her?
She was in the bed when I was.
She was in the bed
Yeah.
when you went to bed last night? Okay.
This is crazy, man. This is like, you know what I'm saying? I know she's hysterical because
Yeah. DIN.
KINS,
Your date of birth, Henry?
August 2nd, 72.
Is this your home address?
No.
What's your address?
It's down by Boston Arena.
I just
Yeah, I just know that.
You don't know your
I don't know the
address?
full address.
Do you know your phone number?
Hell no. I don't know that. Swear to God, I don't.
Henry, you don't know where your daughter is, you don't know your address, and you don't know your phone number.
No, for real. I'm finna
So,
give it to you
buddy,
now. You think I'll be lying, but
well, no, it's just it's kind of.
I don't call myself.
I know, but you got to know your number. You got to know your address.
I don't.
So this is your girlfriend?
Okay, I'm back on for just a second because if April's asking, it probably is a lot of people. But yes, the mom was the one first answering the questions. That's Breasia's mom. This is no blood relation to Breasia. This is her stepdad that's on the camera right now. And I'm going to say stepdad loosely because I think they dated for 2 years. So Henry is the quote unquote stepdad. And then the one that they blurred out is Henry's girlfriend. From what he just said, that's my girlfriend that they blurred out walking out with him, that we couldn't see that person. That was his girlfriend. So that night when Breasia went missing, Henry, Breasia's brother, and Henry's girlfriend were in that apartment. In this complex right here, that where she went when she went missing the night before, because the mom, I think, is finding out the morning of, not the night it happened. All right.
His address here.
This is good friend.
Okay.
Okay, here go my phone right here.
I bet people have been banging on it.
4078.
4078.
Okay. What was she last wearing?
In the bed.
What she had on, some shorts.
What color?
I mean, I'm not going to lie to you.
What's her height and weight, you think?
She's a little taller than he is.
Okay.
She's a little taller than that. She's probably not like this.
Okay. What's her hair look like?
She had dreads. Long.
Dreads.
Long.
Long and dreads hair?
Yep.
Like shoulder length or
down.
Middle of the back?
Down.
Okay. Mid back, dreads. Right? Is that how we would label that?
Yes.
She had shorts on.
Did she still have a white shirt on?
She had that long, she had the shirt that you gave her.
The white shirt.
All white?
All white t-shirt, yep.
And you guys don't have alarms or anything on your doors if the door's open? Okay. And listen, I know this sounds dumb. I've lost my kids too. Okay. Actually, mine just happened last week, and we went back in and we found them in the bedroom.
No, we just searched.
Okay. I'm going to ask you to who have you called? What doors have you knocked on?
I don't know these people out here.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But I called her.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And she told me she was at work. At first, I was riding around looking. And then me and my son started riding around looking.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And then,
So how long ago has it been? An hour?
It's been a couple hours.
Couple hours?
Couple hours.
Okay.
Couple hours.
Have we called grandmas? Have we called cousins?
That's what I just asked. She the one. I don't know all that. She knows all that. She knows all that. Not me.
Okay. Do we have a picture?
She does.
Okay.
Yeah. She got the picture.
Who's the girl that lives here? Andrea?
Sorry, I have to correct myself. I thought his girlfriend walked out too, but it was her brother that walked out with Henry, his son, Breasia's brother, because he'll be answering some questions too along the way while the police is asking Henry and everything. So that's the little brother that walked out. I thought the girlfriend had came out, but that makes more sense on why they blurred him, because he's a minor, so they blurred the minor. But yeah, sorry about that. So Breasia's brother is the one that's blurred out right now on the right hand side. Okay.
What's Andrea's last name? Culberson.
You need a picture of her.
You don't have nothing with you right now. Okay, that's fine. Have we called family?
I've called everybody. I have my uncle out riding around. My mom's on the way out here. My friend's on their way out here.
We've been everywhere.
And she's gonna be with a friend inside some apartment.
That's why I said I'm gonna still look.
Okay.
We don't know anybody out here. That's the thing.
Okay.
She would have never.
How many?
She would have never. First of all, she would have never woke up at 8 o'clock in the morning. She would have never. 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm just saying.
That ain't what I said. I never said.
Guys, this isn't the time to fight.
Exactly. I don't give a fuck about you walking. You lost her though. Because you was watching her, Henry. What do you mean?
But hey,
I'm going, sir. Come on, D.
listen to me. Well, you guys gotta come together right now. This isn't a time to fight about it. Okay. So, well, hey, if you, how am I supposed to? What do you want me to do?
She stepped on me. You know
I mean, I got no picture. I got no. What do you want me to do?
What am I supposed to do?
Right.
You know
I get
All
it,
I have to do is
Henry.
look.
I get it.
All I can do is look.
I get it, Henry. Henry, let's go inside the apartment one more time. Look, this happens more often than you think. I mean, well, I understand why she's upset, but when I'm trying to help, she can't run away from me. I don't want to
deal with the issue.
Yes.
You got to keep a level head.
Yeah.
You know that. I learned that a long time ago.
How many times have you guys stayed out here?
How many times have I been out here? This is their first time.
Oh, it's the very first time she's ever stayed here. And so she has,
But they never stayed.
she has never stayed here. So I wonder just. I mean,
This is such a small. She's not in our level. She's gonna open the door now. She's gonna.
What's her name?
She's gonna open.
Hi there. Are you Andrea? Okay, Andrea. What's your date of birth, Andrea?
9383.
9383. And this is 2744, number 8. And what's your phone number?
563.
Yep. So tell me about, like, when was the last time you saw her?
She was here.
When?
What time did that folks sleep? Like around 11 midnight. She was here. She was in bed sleep.
Okay. And you guys never heard her come down, walk out? There's no forced entry or anything like that? Okay. Do you mind if I just come in and take a quick look? I'm not concerned about anything else. I just want to come in because probably 50% of the time we still find them inside the place when this happens. And what's that?
My face is kind of been bright, but
Listen, I go in all sorts of places. I don't care how big.
is he aware of this?
What's that?
Is he aware of this?
Yeah. What's her name again? Was there any fights or arguments or anything last night? Bree is her name? Where was she sleeping at? Your bed? So where were you guys sleeping at last night? You guys slept out here? Oh. You look in the closet again? Huh?
It's all closed.
I know, I'm just telling you, you'd be surprised what we've.
I know, right?
So she was sleeping in the bed with her brother? And you guys slept out here? Okay. What time did you guys wake up?
Me, I was still asleep. I don't know what time everybody else got up.
Well, what time did you wake up?
Oh goodness, I can't. Honestly, I cannot remember what time.
Okay, like 30 minutes ago, 2 hours ago? 2 hours ago? Okay. Hey, does she have any friends out here? Like, has she ever played with any of the neighbors? Okay, are you going to come out and help look or not?
Right away. But I was right there with the officer when I called.
Yeah, but then he left.
Because she left and it was Aisha. And it made me mad because she was, basically blaming it all on me. But
First, let's just start with your
my name.
Yeah.
Henry Dinkins.
HENRY.
Yes, sir.
And then can you spell your last name for me?
Yeah.
I'm gonna quiet this so you don't have to. We don't have to get distracted here. Middle initial.
E.
His mother is Aisha Langford. Okay. And then, do you have any other biological?
No, I raised Breasia.
Since how old was she?
My baby.
Okay. And so you raised her with Aisha?
Yes.
How long were you and Aisha together for?
Like 2 years. But we stayed close friends.
But you guys stay close. So how long? So you guys
We've been friends all the way to now.
Okay. How long ago did you guys break up? Break it off.
It's like 6 years ago. I'm only guessing it. I'm not.
Yeah, we're approximate though.
Right.
So Notorious Breasia are kind of what you consider your
My
kids.
kids,
Is that
they're my
fair to say?
kids. They're my kids.
Okay. And so did you pick them up yesterday, or when did you pick them up from Aisha, or how did that exchange go?
Me and we're trying to stay cool right now. Me and Aisha, I had seen them, and they said they wanted to come and spend time with me.
What do you mean
Yesterday.
Yeah, okay. And where?
But they wanted to spend time with me, and you know me, I'm like, yeah, y'all can spend time. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. It's just like crazy. It's just crazy.
So what time did you see them yesterday?
I don't even remember.
Was it early in the morning, late in the evening?
So it was probably around in the afternoon sometime.
And this was at Aisha's house.
I don't remember where we was talking, but I picked them up at Aisha's mom's house.
Picked them up from Aisha's mom's house at what? Approximately.
What time, sir?
Like evening? What time of day?
Well, I think it was around the evening time.
Evening time. So you picked them up from Aisha, and what car were you in when you picked them up?
I think it was the Impala. I don't know. I don't remember. Probably was the Red. I don't know.
Okay. And then so you pick them up, bring them back here. Well, bring them back up. Do you take them straight to your mobile home, or
no?
What you guys do?
We went
Just let me through your day.
We went to my
What you
cousin's
remember.
house. We went down to my cousin's house, and they played with my little cousins, and they wanted to go.
What cousin's house was that?
Vince.
Oh, Vince. Okay. And where does he live?
On Taylor.
Taylor and what?
Between 5th and 6th.
You know the exact address or no?
No.
Okay.
But they got. I guess they wanted to go to the house, so we went to the house. They started playing the games at the house, and then they took their showers, and then they got in the bed. You know, me and Andrew laid down. I got up. I left. Came back.
What time did you leave around?
I don't even remember, sir. I mean,
And what the sleeping arrangements? How is that? Like who sleeps where in the house? And
I mean, the kids were in Andrew's room.
Okay.
Me and Andrew was sitting out in the living room.
Okay.
We was in the living room, and I left and came back. And then when I left, I think I went down to Little Vince's house, but nobody was there. And when I came back, you know, I did a little look around. I didn't see Bree. No, it wasn't. I don't remember. Oh, that's a lie. That's a ballfish lie. It wasn't even at that time. I don't ever look at the time, so I mean, I'm really confused with the time. But I know when I went and looked for Bree, so I only seen Little Dink in the bed.
Okay.
And I left. So I went like moving around, and I
left the apartment.
Like the apartment, yeah, and went like out and about, you know, where she was living. And out there in I don't know the apartment buildings out there. I don't know.
But you pick them up from Aisha's. You go to Vince's house.
Right.
They play with the kids. Then you head up to Andrea's house. Okay. Did you go to your trailer at all?
No.
Okay. And then so you guys go there. You said the kids shower and they get ready for bed, and they sleep in Andrea's room.
Right.
In the same bed together.
Yes.
And then you and Andrea in the room. And then at one point you leave in the night. How many hours do you think it was between when you first got there and then you left the apartment?
Probably like about 4 hours.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, around.
I figure.
And so then you leave, but is everyone still in those same like kind of areas when you leave?
But, no, when I was there.
When you left.
Yeah, when I left, ain't nobody came out of no room.
Yeah, everyone was.
Everybody was still, you know, situated. Notorious was before I left. Notorious was still playing the game, and I went in there, and he said he was done playing the game, so I turned the TV off, and he went to sleep. And then, you know what I'm saying, I went in the living room, sat around for a while, bored. I'm saying, left, came back. You know what I'm saying?
How long were you gone for?
I don't know, probably I assume 45 minutes to an hour, 30 minutes. I don't know, somewhere around there.
Okay. And then you come back, and then kind of what do you do when you get back?
Nothing.
Nothing. Did you like just go to bed, or did
No,
you
I
stay in the living room?
I was in the living room. I wasn't even tired.
Yeah.
But I period like when I was there, you know, so I periodically checked them, make sure it was good enough because we had the air conditioner on, so I had to unplug it because it gets too cold.
Okay.
So pretty much, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, when I realized that, and it's kind of odd because I never known Brie to ever leave. Ever. You know what I'm saying? Never, ever leave. I never. It was just odd. You know what I mean? And when I realized, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I went looking around. Cause then when I came back, Andrea was up. She like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "Man, something ain't right." You know what I'm saying? I was freaking out a little bit. So she like, I'm like, "Man, I'll talk to you in a minute. I'll talk to you in a minute. I'll talk to you in a minute. Let me figure this shit out." And you know what I'm saying? Because I didn't want her stressing. You know what I'm saying? So, and then when I came back, I grabbed Dink, you know, and I'm like, "Man," he like, "Dad, where is Bree?" I said, I don't know. He's like, and then we rolled around, and then I texted his mom. When I texted his mom, she was at work, and she was like, I'm like, "Hey, Bree's missing." She's like, "Well, stop playing with me." You know what I'm saying? Stop playing with me. And I'm like, "Man, no, I'm not playing. I'm for real." And she was like, um, yeah, at Burger King.
Okay.
And Aisha was like really upset. I said, you know what I'm saying? I understand how you're coming. I feel what you're saying right now, but you know, you stressing out right now. It's not going to help us out right now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We have to figure this shit out, you know? So I was like, "Well, you're responsible. You're responsible." You know, and it made me feel so fucking bad because, you know, I am responsible. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But
you call 911?
No, she did. I thought I was going to go to the police station at first. She said, "No, let's go to the apartment." You know what I'm saying? So I said, "Well, we can call at the apartment." You know what I'm saying? And Aisha was like, because first I'm thinking like, she ain't really missing. You know what I mean? Something, you know what I'm saying? Maybe something, I don't know. But once it really set in there, can't nobody find her. That's when it hit me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know.
When you left to
go down to Little Vince's.
Little Vince's, okay. But then you got back.
No.
Okay.
And then I left twice.
And where'd you leave for the second time, or what was that?
I think I went to the quick shop. Got a pack of cigarettes or something like that.
You wouldn't even remember what quick shop?
It's quick shop on 53rd.
Okay. What do you do immediately after you know it's Bree's not?
I go outside.
Go outside. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That's the first thing I did.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, I went outside.
Okay. And then, like, just around the area, or did you get in a car and drive?
Well, I went around the area first.
Okay.
And then I started moving around, like trying to get close within the areas. You know what I mean? Trying to look to see if she was walking. You know what I'm saying, or whatever.
And for the sake of, I'm not going to hand you off on a driving charge. If you went and drove and tried to find her in certain places, I went. And then, how long were you looking for her approximately the first time?
What you mean the first time? I looked for a while. I've been looking for a period.
Yeah, I know, but then you do come back to the apartment. You said earlier.
When I went looking for her, I did come back to get.
Yeah. So I'm asking just how long was that time frame of prior to picking up?
I don't know, sir.
Okay. But did you have your phone then when you were looking for her, or no?
No.
Okay.
I wasn't even thinking about the
phone.
I wasn't even. The phone wasn't even a concern.
Sir.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Finding her was the concern.
For sure.
So the phone really wasn't a concern.
So you come back, you grab Dink, and then is that when you and Andrea had a conversation about what's going on, or
no? But on the day she kept saying, "You're responsible. You're responsible. You're responsible. You're responsible." You know what I'm saying? Why wasn't you watching? I'm like, "What you mean? She sleep? The fuck you mean?" You know what I'm saying? Who watches? You know what I'm saying? I periodically check, but
any places you could? I mean, you probably already checked them, but
when the officer got there.
Okay. So you arrived before the officer.
Huh?
So you arrived before the officer.
Yes.
Okay. You and Detroit's both arrived.
Matter of fact,
I made a report that you walked up and.
No. Me and Aisha made it there. Aisha got the number off the building and had them come.
What number off the building?
Because they got numbers on the.
Oh, like the address number.
The address to the whole Quad City.
Did you go back to your mobile home at all?
Yes, me and Lil Dink went down there.
You this morning?
Yeah. Once we was looking, you know what I'm saying? We got to looking, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, I needed to grab what was it that I ran up out of there? I think it was a couple dollars, whatever it was that I needed. Some money.
So
Because I was starting.
was that before or after you saw Aisha?
I saw Aisha. I don't remember, man. I don't know, man. I really don't know. Then I went to. When I left my sister's house, I came straight in.
Okay. And then so how is your car not here? You know what I mean?
I came straight here.
I get that, but the car that you were driving was the Impala, and the Impala's not here.
I didn't say I was driving the Impala.
Well, you came in the Impala.
I never said I was driving the Impala.
So you left the apartments in the Impala, right?
Yes.
Okay. So at what point did you not have the Impala anymore?
What do that got to do with the Impala? I mean,
because you left there in the vehicle, and that's.
I mean, I'm not trying to make it hard on you.
Yeah, I get it.
But I mean, literally, as for the situation with the driving aspect, you know,
I'm not looking for the driving. I'm looking for the car.
I'm keeping that solo with it.
No, that's fine. I'm more concerned about the car.
I mean, if you want to check the car, you can check the car.
Yeah, we would like to do that.
Yes, okay, without a problem.
Where's the car?
It's reachable.
Reachable as in.
I can get it to you guys at any time. That's basically what I'm saying.
And also to backtrack.
I mean, one thing about me, I mean, like I said, if I had any issues, I would never came down. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I'm not gonna, pull, what I'm saying, no extra. But when it come down to the, you know how I feel about the driver situation.
And I know that, but I'm not worried about that. I'm just trying to figure out
what I'm saying is
your back trail of when you left the police asked you to stay there and you left, and all of a sudden there's this car you left in, but now we don't know
what
the car.
I'm saying is you can, if you want to search the car, I can bring the car to search for you.
And I'm just trying to also backtrack, like where. I mean, you don't have to say you're driving the car.
That's my mom. By the way, they probably downstairs.
But it also helps just make me understand your route that you took because you had the car and then you didn't. I just want to know where that transition took place.
It's reachable, bro. I just say it like that.
But you don't want to talk about how you eventually switched vehicles or
never switched. I mean, that was like I didn't switch no vehicles.
Okay.
Why would I switch a vehicle?
But then so someone else was with you in the car?
But why would I switch vehicles? Where do you get to switch vehicles at?
Because so the Impala, you left the apartment, okay, and then now you're here at the station, but the Impala's not here.
It's around. I'll say it that way. It's around.
Okay.
It's
around the block somewhere.
It's around.
Okay. That helps me better understand.
Yeah, I mean, I as for the driving,
and I'm not worried about. I don't know if you want to trace kind of like with the pen and trace where you went.
Bro, I don't know exactly where I went. That's why I'm not.
Did you stop at any places?
I don't remember. Okay, I didn't.
Did you talk to anyone when you were out looking?
No, I was just looking. You know what I'm saying? Just looking. I've been through the whole area, almost all of this area, almost.
So what ones have you not been to?
I haven't went over there by Castlewood, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. And so would you be fine if we downloaded the phone to have the call logs and the text?
For what reason?
To corroborate everything here about the call logs and the text. It helps everyone out.
Download my phone.
To just get the call logs to show that those calls were made at those certain times.
I can show you my phone. I can just show you my phone.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? You want to see? I can just show you my phone. I mean, I can just open up my phone and let you go on my phone.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
What's the passcode to your phone?
Just give me my phone and I'll open it up for you.
Okay. Will you open up right in front of you?
Yeah, I'll open it right here.
And so if you want to just take while I go grab your phone, if you want to just take a closer look, and if there's anything that's sticking out, be sure to mark it. Okay.
I mean, what is there to stick out?
Like, for sure, places that you went, for sure.
Why are you looking at me do my password?
Well, that's what I asked.
No, I said I will open it for you.
Yeah,
but I'm not going to give you my password.
Okay.
I will open it for you so you can look at my phone, but I'm not going to give you my password.
Okay. And then you're just going to lock it?
Yes, right after you finish looking. Yeah. I will let you look in. I have no problem with you looking. Okay. That's something I don't have a problem.
Okay.
And what the fuck is it? My mind ain't not even on my phone.
You recently got this phone too, though, right? Yeah.
No, I had this phone for a minute, but
I think. Well, just a new phone number.
Yeah. No, this number.
Because you said you didn't know it. That's why I was.
I don't know my number. All I know is 72726. Why you still watching? I don't want to open it then, bro.
You know,
Not if you staring into me while I'm trying to get my number.
What I'm doing is I'm making sure that you're not going in and deleting anything. That's what my concern.
Why would I delete something?
You never know with guests. Trust me. It happens.
I mean, as soon as I open it, I'll give it to you.
Sounds good.
So you can look at it.
Yep. Yeah. Which just helps speed up any suspicion we would have.
But I don't understand how I got suspicious with my own kids, man. These are my kids.
No,
you know what I'm saying? I mean,
I'm just saying it would clear any suspicion, right?
Listen, I mean, I know you know your job. You know what I'm saying? And I know what you have to do. I know what you have to do. You know what I'm saying? And I don't have no issues with that period. But these are my kids, bro.
Mm-hmm.
These are my kids. You know what I'm saying? These are mine.
Yeah.
I'm really like confused. Like, I wish I had been staying in my same state of mind where I was saying no all the time.
What do you mean by that?
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Paul Sikorsky, and I'm the police chief here in Davenport. And last Monday, the Davenport Police Department was contacted by the Clinton County Sheriff's Department in regarding to the discovery of human remains near 270th Avenue near DeWitt. An autopsy on the remains was conducted by the Division of Criminal Investigation, and we have received confirmation that the remains are those of Breasia Terrell. As you know, Breasia's been missing since July 10th from our city. This news is heartbreaking to both Breasia's family and our Davenport community. Our deepest sympathies and heartfelt prayers are with all of those who are affected by this tragic loss. As this case turns from a missing child to a homicide investigation, we know our community is anxious for information regarding the investigation and any charges that may be forthcoming. We also understand the desire to see the perpetrator of this crime brought to justice. However, in order to maintain the integrity of this investigation, one that's been going on for some 9 months now, nonstop, I'm not able to comment on any specific investigative details at this time. And I hope you all will respect that for the integrity of this investigation. This investigation continues to be a joint investigation by the Davenport Police Department, the Division of Criminal Investigation from the Iowa Department of Public Safety, and our federal partners at the FBI. I can assure our community that investigators are working diligently to bring justice on Breasia's half. Again, they have been nonstop for the last 9 months. I want to assure our community that when we are able to share details on this investigation, we will. As we told you last Monday in Clinton County with Sheriff Greenwald, that we would let you know just as soon as we could when we had information on this. We will continue to do that for our community's sake, for Breasia's sake, and Breasia's family. We have been in constant contact with Breasia's family. This is a very tragic and emotional time for them, and they need our community's support. We've been working with our partners from Family Resources to ensure they have the support services that they need during this time. And I'd like to let them speak a little bit about those services and what we have here in our community, great services for as far as that's concerned. So if Nicole Sisney-Durbin, the president of Family Resources, will talk to you just for a little bit here. And that's working for Breasia and her family and our community. Today we have DCI up here with us. We have the We have the Clinton County Sheriff up here with us. We have members, or we have our superintendent from the Davenport Community Schools. We have our school board president here and family resources here. Before we came down here to talk to all of you and to talk to our community, we sat upstairs at a table and just recognized, one, how different our jobs are, but that we all do it for the same reason, for the same cause, and that's for our community and our kids and our families. So
it was the Iowa State's Attorney Mike Walton who made the announcement earlier this morning of 2 charges being filed against Henry Dinkins. The first charge being first-degree murder. That is a life sentence in the state of Iowa if convicted. The second charge being first-degree kidnapping. That's also a life sentence in the state of Iowa. But as Attorney Mike Walton explained, this is still just the beginning for bringing justice for Breasia. Breasia Terrell went missing about 9 months ago, and police and community members have been working tirelessly to find Breasia. And when they found her body last month, the focus then shifted to bringing justice for her.
These charges are the result of a 9-month investigation by the Davenport Police Department and numerous other agencies.
The state's attorney also released information on how 10-year-old Breasia Terrell died, and they said it was due to a gunshot wound. Because the investigation is ongoing, they weren't able to give other information. But as we come back out here live, when we were in that press conference this morning, it was as if there was a glimmer of hope that they are going to be bringing justice for Breasia. But Shelby, as I stated, this is still just the beginning. Now that charges have been filed, they now go to the court system. When I spoke with the state's attorney earlier, they said that court date has not yet been set. In Davenport, David Bowman, WQAD News 8.
An unexpected twist to the start of the trial of Henry Dinkins, waiving his right to a jury. Dinkins is charged in the death of 10-year-old Breasia Terrell, who went missing from Davenport back in 2020. News 8's Joe McCoy joins us live outside the Lynn County Courthouse to break down what happened this morning. Good evening, Joe.
Good evening, Linda. In a surprising twist, Henry Dinkins has waived his right to a jury trial, now putting his fate in the hands of the judge. This is yet another twist in the case that has been dragging on for over 3 years. As you mentioned, Dinkins has been charged with the kidnapping and murder of Breasia Terrell. 9 months after Terrell went missing, fishermen found her body in a pond near DeWitt. Since pleading not guilty, Dinkins requested to move the trial from Scott to Lynn County, which the judge granted. The trial has been delayed twice, and the defendant is on his second set of lawyers. According to court documents, the state plans to call 90 witnesses and show over 140 pieces of evidence, including a machete, revolver, and a bullet collected from Breasia's remains. The defense filed a list of 64 witnesses. And now Dinkins has been in prison since July 2020 on unrelated sex offender charges. If convicted for the death of Breasia, he faces a mandatory sentence of life without parole. Linda?
All right, thank you, Joe. Okay. Today marks day 2 of the delayed trial of Henry Dinkins, the man accused of killing 10-year-old Breasia Terrell. The bench trial is underway at Scott County after Dinkins and his defense team waived his right to a jury trial earlier this week. Today, state prosecutors continue to question witnesses' timelines leading up to the murder. News 8's Nina Burns joins us live outside the Scott County Courthouse with more. Hello, Nina.
Hi, Linda. State prosecutors utilized day 2 of this trial to highlight 2 major aspects, and those aspects include a singular cell phone pinpoint and also Henry Dinkins' Chevy Impala. That is the alleged vehicle used to transport Breasia. On July 10th, 2020, the day Breasia Terrell went missing, Henry Dinkins' cell phone made brief contact with a cell tower in Comanche, Iowa. That point of contact brought law enforcement to check a Clinton, Iowa Walmart surveillance camera. The footage shows Dinkins step out of the maroon Chevy Impala to purchase 2 bottles of bleach. Now, through witness testimony, we find out it was storming the day Breasia went missing. This is a major factor for where Breasia's remains were recovered, which consists of a pond and a long gravel path. The state uncovering Dinkins' Chevy Impala had mud and dirt stuck under the vehicle.
When the defendant was paying for his items, it was noticeable that he continually looked out at his vehicle while at the register. I don't know how many times, but it was a very frequent turning of the head to look out to the gas pumps. He was frantic and just walked away without collecting his change.
Once the vehicle was raised, stuck in the undercarriage was a few spots of what appeared to be soil and grass stuck in the undercarriage of the vehicle. The vehicle would have needed to be driven off-road to get dirt and grass in those areas.
At the very end of the day 2 of this trial, Henry Dinkins' biological son, which the court refers to as DL, took the stand. He went into detail and described what he saw that night on July 10th.
Did you notice anything about Henry at that time?
He was upstaring.
He was what?
Upstaring.
He was staring?
Yes.
Staring at what?
It looked like the back room that I was laying in.
At some point then, did you wake up again in the middle of the night?
Yes.
When you woke up the second time, what did you notice?
That she was gone.
When you say she, who are you talking about?
My sister.
Now, due to his age, DL was not able to be videotaped during his time at the stand. And because this was during the last 30 minutes of today, they did not have a chance to cross-examine. So we plan on them being able to cross-examine following on the next day, which is going to be on Monday at 9 a.m. Back to you, Linda.
All right, Nina, thank you.
Today is day 3 in the trial of Henry Dinkins, the man accused of killing 10-year-old Breasia Terrell. 3 more state witnesses took the stand. All 3 had direct contact with Breasia hours before her disappearance. News 8's Nina Burns joins us in studio with more. Hey, Nina.
Thank you. And that's right, John. Day 3 brings us the most intense testimony we've heard yet. That includes Henry Dinkins' biological son, who the court refers to as DL, Ayesha Langford, Breasia's mother, and Henry Dinkins' then girlfriend, Andrea Culberson.
Did it take a long time to get to Walmart?
Just a little bit.
That's Henry Dinkins' biological son, DL, recalling the morning Breasia Terrell went missing. DL spent the night with Breasia, testifying that morning they went to a Walmart. DL stayed in the car, putting the battery back into Dinkins' phone to play a game and removing it once Dinkins walked out. He says Dinkins purchased bleach at the Walmart, then brought him down a dirt path where he poured out the bleach. That's when DL says Dinkins brought him to his RV.
What did the two of you do when you got to the RV?
He opened the trunk of the purple Impala and he grabbed out a bloody knife.
During cross-examination, the defense uncovering a bombshell, questioning why DL initially told police he saw Henry Dinkins shoot Breasia, something the state hadn't brought up this entire trial.
You just conveniently left out the fact that you saw your sister get shot when the prosecutor was asking you?
I didn't leave it out. I didn't speak about it. I hate speaking about it.
Second to take the stand, Breasia's mother, claiming Dinkins called, saying Breasia was missing and he was heading to the police station. When she found out he hadn't, she called 911.
How old is she? She's only 9.
Langford then described seeing Dinkins speeding on her way to the police department, forcing him to pull over before confronting him.
He just was, I don't know. I just woke up and she just wasn't there. I don't know. And and I was screaming and I'm like, it doesn't make sense,
But the defense continues pushing DL's claim he was there when Breasia was shot.
He told you that he was present, that Henry Dinkins shot his sister, right?
Yes, that's what he said.
The kind of boy that likes to exaggerate?
Depends on the situation. Not about his sister, though.
Last to take the stand, Dinkins' former girlfriend, Andrea Culberson, who says she woke up at 3 a.m. that night to Dinkins and Breasia missing, looking out the window once Dinkins returned.
And saw Breasia outside of the car. So now my heart's like, okay.
Dinkins leaving again, returning in the morning with no Breasia.
Dinkins offering any explanation at all?
No.
What happened next?
And then next thing I know, detectives are at my house.
To this moment, the state has not addressed DL's claim he was there when Breasia was shot, meaning some serious clarity is needed for this intense claim. Back to you.
All right, Nina Burns following the case for us moment by moment. Thank you, Nina.
The first full week of testimony will wrap up today for the man on trial in the death of a 10-year-old girl in Davenport.
Henry Dinkins is charged with kidnapping and killing Breasia Terrell. Breasia disappeared in July 2020, the night she stayed with Dinkins at his home. Fishermen found her body 8 months later in Clinton County. Testimony Thursday featured forensic experts from the FBI's lab in Quantico, Virginia. One expert said hundreds of fibers found on a machete in Dinkins' camper indicated it was cleaned with a cloth, but the defense questioned its link to Breasia's death.
Is it fair for me to say that there's no trace evidence in that Impala that places Breasia Terrell in that Impala?
Well, it would be inaccurate because we just don't know.
Okay, the question then becomes, is it fair for me to say we don't know from the evidence and the testing that you have done that Breasia Terrell was in that Impala?
Correct. There's no comparison that was conducted.
A third analyst testified that none of Breasia's DNA was found on these key pieces of evidence. That includes swabs taken from Dinkins.
We are in day 8 of the trial of Henry Dinkins, the man accused of killing 10-year-old Breasia Terrell back in 2020. Today, the prosecution presenting footage of what they believe is Dinkins' maroon Chevy Impala. News 8's Nina Burns joins us in studio. Hello, Nina.
Hi, John. Detective Evan Olbert has been the only state's witness for the last 2 days of the trial. Today, he walked the court through Dinkins' alleged travels leading up to Breasia's disappearance. During the early morning hours, cameras at nearby businesses caught a dark sedan. At 2:29 a.m., headlights are captured leaving a lot off Schmidt Road. That's the same lot where Dinkins' RV was parked. From 2:51 a.m. to 2:53 a.m., we see a sedan entering Credit Island and then leave. That same day, Detective Orbit discovers a flip-flop at Credit Island. His body camera shows Breasia's mother look at photos of the shoot.
No, I know. No, that's not her. No, we just had to.
At 6, we show you the cross-examination of Detective Obert and how the defense is cracking down on the state's lack of physical evidence. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Nina. We have that full video of Breasia's mother's reaction on our website. And we have continuing coverage of the trial. We are streaming it live every day on our website and YouTube page.
Is entering a 9th day for the Davenport man accused of murdering Breasia Terrell. Only one witness took the stand yesterday, the lead police investigator in the case. The defense says Henry Dinkins was considered the main suspect since the day Breasia was reported missing in July of 2020. They argue police didn't investigate other suspects or test any evidence that could disprove this theory. Prosecutors say Dinkins never told anyone Breasia was gone or called 911 to report her missing.
If he wants to not be looked at, if he didn't truly do something, he would not be changing articles of clothing and doing all these other things.
Prosecutors focused on 2 bottles of bleach Dinkins bought in Clinton the morning Breasia disappeared. They said it didn't make any sense for him to go to another city to buy bleach.
Several revelations in Scott County Court today in the trial of Henry Dinkins, accused of killing Breasia Terrell in 2020.
Yeah, forensic anthropologists testified that Breasia had been shot at least 3 times. We also heard from the men who effectively ended the search for Breasia. TV6's Jenna Jackson was in court for us today, has the latest details on the case for us tonight. Jenna?
Yeah, Redrick, Paula, for the first time today, we heard from those 3 fishermen who found Breasia Terrell's remains. Brendan Rogie, Jesse Dow, and Eric Johnson decided to go fishing on March 22nd, 2021 at that pond near Kunau Implements, the one we have now become very familiar with. As they were walking towards the pond, Rogie says he noticed something white in a wooded area. He then realized it was a skull. Johnson, thinking it was fake, then picked up the skull to look at it.
It's just not something that you see every day. So I picked it up and kind of just sat where I was and looked around, and that's when we found the other remains.
Once you picked up that skull, what did you determine?
That it was real.
Sergeant Jeffrey Pfeiffer then was called back on the stand to provide testimony about the day her remains were found. Now, in court, they showed photos of the revolver found in the pond near where her remains were found. They also showed the bullets found with Breasia's remains, and they showed the shirt, shorts, bra, and slide that was found on or near Breasia's remains. Now, Sergeant Pfeiffer noting there was some discoloration on the black shorts that he thought could potentially be bleach stains. Of course, we've heard a lot about bleach during this case. He sent all of that to be off to the state crime lab to be tested. Now, the defense will start their cross-examination of Sergeant Pfeiffer tomorrow morning, which will likely include questions on whether all of those items found at the remain site were tested for DNA evidence.
All right, Jenna, thank you. Now, keeping Breasia's memorial well-maintained, a woman in DeWitt is dedicating herself to that very effort.
Yeah, she's actually been visiting the memorial site to pull weeds and clean up the area. TV6's Larry Goodwin met with her earlier and has her story for us tonight. Larry.
Thanks, Paul and Redrick. Dawn Hemsoth lives in DeWitt. She says she drives by Breasia's memorial often and one day felt the need to stop and get the area cleaned up. Last week, she decided to do just that.
Once I saw what needed to be done, and that's what needed to be done for me. I was on a mission, I knew.
A week's worth of work and improvements made to Breasia Terrell's memorial. Dawn Hemsoth of DeWitt decided to tidy up the area, including bringing some personally made items to help brighten things around the site.
I made the colored flower pot, which will hold the flowers once I cut the rest of the flowers down. I made the purple cross. Her favorite color was purple. And I made the stones on the right-hand side to do a cutoff.
Other than just a simple act of kindness, Dawn says her inspiration for helping out was personal.
July 10th, when Breasia was reported missing, that is the date that my daughter passed away 27 years ago. And recently found out, besides them both being 10 and a half, they both favorite color was purple, and both of their birthdays were in December.
A good deed that was meant to be? Dawn Hemsoth seems to think so.
When I found out both their birthdays were in December, both favorite colors purple, all those things fell into place, and it was just like, okay, I think this was meant for me to do this.
Dawn says she hopes this will attract more people to visit, and that she will continue to keep Breasia's memorial looking nice.
I just hope people will, feel free to come out here and, revisit her or visit her for the first time and leave something new. I, of course, will know when I come out, and will continue to keep cleaning Breasia's site up here.
Now, Dawn also said she did a lot of painting and brought things.
10-year-old Breasia Terrell was last seen at his apartment for a sleepover with her half-brother, who is the defendant's biological son. A forensic anthropologist took the stand today and testified about finding Breasia's remains and the evidence collected at the scene.
As the brush started to be removed, describe what was being discovered.
So again, the remains were mainly in this main concentration in the area where they were first found, around that area where the skull was found. During the hands and knee search, we just found little elements. We found some fingernails, some hand or foot bones, slightly away from that concentration.
All right. And then were there any areas where there was a section of the body that had been drug away from the main concentration?
Yes, so the left lower limb had been drugged west of the main concentration.
Okay. As you were looking at those skeletal remains, was there anything that was particularly obvious to you?
At first glance, I could tell that they were the remains of a subadult or juvenile. When you're a child, the ends of your bones aren't actually fused on. That's what allows you to grow taller until you reach skeletal maturity. And so those ends are called epiphyses. And I could see at the scene that we had these epiphyses there.
All right. Was there any hair associated with those skeletal remains?
There was a hair mass at the scene.
Describe the hair mass.
It's somewhat outside the scope of forensic anthropology. I mean, it had shell beads in it. It was a dark brown or black color, but I'm not a hair expert.
No, and that's exactly what I needed. I just needed to have you describe the physical appearance. So then at that point, then did you start the process of collecting those bones?
So once we did our hands and knee search and removed all the debris around there, making sure that we had found all of the elements, they were again documented so that we had that third documentation there. Once DCI agreed that they had all the documentation they needed in that case, we did begin to collect those elements and place them into body bags.
When you had removed what would have been the obvious skeletal remains, is there anything else that was done just to sift through the dirt to see if you could find anything else that was associated with that body?
Yes, it's common procedure once all the elements that are on the surface there are recovered to take a trowel and scrape the soil. Sometimes over periods of time, elements can kind of sink into the soil. So I did that about a centimeter deep in that area of the remains.
As a result of that process, did you make any further discoveries?
Yes, I found a few additional teeth and then 2 artifacts that were later determined to be bullets.
Okay. Relative to the hair, did you examine the hair up close to see if there were any artifacts in the hair out there at the scene other than the shells that were very obvious?
I did not.
All right. But at any rate, was that mass of hair then collected and placed in the body bag?
Yes. Typically, we try to collect everything, disturbing as little as possible, so that the forensic pathologist then has whatever the remains were associated with in context.
Okay. Was there any clothing associated with those skeletal remains?
There was some clothing.
Do you recall what those articles of clothing were that was associated with the remains?
I think I recall an undergarment that was in the area. I heard of maybe other clothing in other parts, but I wasn't involved in that.
Okay. And then was there clothing attached to the skeletal remains when you came across it, or right there in the central concentration?
So I recall, like I said, some kind of undergarment that was mixed into the remains, and there was a sandal or a shoe that was nearby.
When you were making an age determination, what age did you identify for these remains?
If these remains were female, it was between 9 and 12 years of age.
9 and 12 years of age. And then in your examination of the skeletal remains, did you note any trauma?
I did.
Describe the trauma that you noted.
There was a semicircular defect to the inferior portion of the left mandible, which was consistent with a bullet impact traveling left to right through that mandible portion.
Okay. Based on the point of entry through that mandible, were you able to determine a trajectory or a path of travel for that bullet and where it would have stopped?
Yes. So based on the outside, the semicircular defect there, the inside of the mandible bone had internal beveling. So the defect is larger. That indicates that's where the bullet was exiting that bone. So I could tell the entrance versus exit through that one portion of the mandible, suggesting left to right. And then I also had a defect, kind of a circular crushing defect between the 3rd and 4th vertebrae in the neck, the cervical vertebrae. That would be consistent with a bullet impact. And in this case, I was able to anatomically align them and show that they could be from the same trajectory, from the same bullet.
All right, still with me, criminal defense attorneys Josh Delaney and Brian Gaither. And Brian, I'll start with you. Earl Dinkins was in the very beginning of jury selection when they decided to go with a bench trial. And normally when you go with a bench trial, you may decide to go in that direction because you want to argue a fine point of law that you think a judge might understand better, or it reminds me why they might have chosen it in this case, because I don't think that other one exists. It's that, you're hearing about a child being killed with a gunshot wound. You hear about the little hair that she was able to identify. You see the beautiful pictures of this little girl. The only chance this guy may have is to keep emotion out of it. And, if you had a jury, that would be a big problem for him.
Well, I think I agree with you completely, because it paints a horrific picture to a jury. But you have to realize that judges are human too. So I think that's, you can't just, you can't just throw out the whole jury trial thinking the judge will give you a better outcome, trying to take out emotion because that judge is a human. And now it's the judge. It's just him or her rather than 6 or 12. So yes, I do agree that this was a strategic way to potentially not put this in front of a jury that potentially not like these facts just off of hearing it. But judges are just as human as the jury. Now you only have one shot.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. Judge, I want to get your thoughts on this as well, because, yeah, it's right. The judge is just as human. But if you're arguing to 6 or 12, that increases your chances of catching one. Because one thing.
All right, we are on the 11th day of the trial of Henry Dinkins, a man accused of killing 10-year-old Breasia Terrell. Yesterday, we heard the reading of the deposition of a man who has since died, who alleges he pulled Dinkins out of a ditch the night Breasia disappeared. Tonight, News 8's Nina Burns breaks down the video footage from his interview in our continuing coverage tonight at 6.
I take that gravel road that goes around the backside of Coon House. Okay. And then I jump onto the 4 lane and head south. Okay.
In 2020, during the early morning hours, Jared Brink took his average route to work.
About a half mile around the corner, and a black man jumped out the road in front of me and waved his arms.
The man told Brink he was stuck in a ditch.
Yeah, so he made a wrong turn. He was coming back from Clinton to Davenport.
Brink decided to help that man out of the ditch.
When I looked at him, I did not suspect anything like of an abnormal person. Okay.
The man then offering Brink $100 multiple times. Brink declined before resuming his normal day.
What color was the car? I'm almost positive it was maroon.
But this interview took place nearly a year after the incident, after Brink says he heard about a body being discovered near the pond and told his friend.
I said, you know what's weird about them finding that body up there or whatever? I said, last fall. I said, I can't remember the date. I said, I pulled a black man out of the ditch here.
His friend showing Brink a flyer of Henry Dinkins and his maroon Chevy Impala.
I was like, oh my God. He said, you don't know the maroon Impala? And I said, no, what? Well, that's that girl that's missing. That's respectively, and that's that car.
Brinks then identifies the shorts the man wore.
For some reason, I see some kind of blue design in the shorts.
The location, shorts, and time of morning, all pointing towards Henry Dinkins. In Davenport, Nina Burns, WQED News 8.
The trial against Henry Dinkins, the man accused of killing and kidnapping 10-year-old Breasia Terrell, has wrapped up, and now we wait for a verdict. TV6's Jenna Jackson has been in the courtroom for the entire trial and wraps up closing arguments.
This is something I never wish on anybody else.
For Breasia Terrell's family, they've waited years for a shot at justice.
The past 3 years, I tell anybody, it's like trying to let a wound heal. And going and seeing all of this now is like somebody done ripped the bandage off the little part that was healed, because this is something that we can never heal completely over.
Now, what they want is in the hands of one judge. Tuesday, it was a battle against the evidence during closing arguments, the state saying they had plenty of circumstantial and physical evidence to prove the case against Dinkins.
The evidence in this case is overwhelming, and the conclusions are clear. The child was taken from that apartment by a man who was not her father. She was taken so that the adult nor her brother would know she was sexually assaulted, and then that child was murdered.
The state pointing to similar soil samples taken from the site where Breasia's remains were found to the ones under Dinkins' Impala. Also to Dinkins buying bleach at the Clinton Walmart, plus statements from Breasia's little brother DL and Jared Brink, the man who said he helped pull a driver out of a ditch near the area where Breasia was found.
When you're looking at why are we attacking DL's credibility, what is the point of making him look like the person who's just making things up? Again, it's because he's placing the defendant there where Breasia's remains were found.
The defense, on the other hand, calling the state's theory a fairy tale, saying it's not based in fact.
There simply is no evidence to support the state's theory that this man committed these crimes. You simply cannot say, based upon what has been presented here, that Henry Dinkins set out on a plan to sexually assault this 10-year-old girl and then decide to execute her. Because that's what it was. It was an execution.
The defense pointing out the lack of DNA, blood, hair, or fiber evidence tying Dinkins directly to the crime, and saying the Davenport Police Department focused too soon on Dinkins and didn't look at other possibilities.
Their choice at that point was to make a case against Henry Dinkins, not build a case based upon the evidence. You see, they'd already concluded that Henry Dinkins had done this. Now we're going to build the evidence around that conclusion.
Breasia's family, though, they believe Henry Dinkins is guilty, and now they wait for a verdict.
Everybody knows what we're looking for. We're looking for justice. Justice for Breasia. We want Breasia to be able to fly free.
Now, because this is a bench trial, the case is now in the judge's hands. It's not clear how long it will take for a verdict.
An emotional moment in court this morning as Henry Dinkins is convicted of kidnapping and first-degree murder in the death of 10-year-old Breasia Terrell. Breasia vanished in July of 2020. Her remains were found the following March in Clinton County. In court today, a judge credited her younger brother with helping investigators solve this case. DL told police he saw his father buy bleach and use it to wipe down a knife. It's a detail investigators say corroborated through surveillance video at this store. That's just one example of the information the then 8-year-old told investigators. While DL and Breasia were siblings, Dinkins was not Breasia's father. Dinkins is being held at the Scott County Courthouse. He'll be sentenced on October 11th.
Okay, so I'm about to play the sentencing, and before he's sentenced, the bag of trash gets to speak, the mom gets to speak, and then the judge speaks. Just so you're prepared to hear the bag of trash speak, I just want to let y'all know you're going to hear him talk. And I saw Miss K say that the mom didn't know that she went with them, so thank you for clearing that up. I with him believing that he helped raise Breasia because they had been together for like 2 years and she was a baby, I do still look at the mom sideways. I'm just going to be honest. I'm human. I'm still looking at her sideways. If that night he more talked the grandmother into letting Breasia go and the mom was at work, then I'll accept that. But overall, just him being in their lives, period, that's where I look at the mom for me. All right. So I'm going to go to, it starts with him, then it goes to the mom speaking, like an impact statement type thing, and then the judge gives his sentencing. Okay, so I'll be back off. Let me go back. Okay, all right, I'm about to be back off the mic.
Sentence in this case.
What are you supposed to do when you're told you can't even speak in court, especially when you see and know something ain't right? Logistically, it's like having a gag order, which prevents you from addressing the court with any of the issues. What if your issues are with the judge, the prosecutor, or the attorney? You are not allowed to put anything on record at any time of these issues during the court proceedings, unless it's asked the question of the judge, prosecutor, or your attorney. What happened to the rights of freedom of speech if a person addressed a matter to the court in the proper proceedings? Even if it's in the same spectrum as if your attorney or your prosecutor are addressing the courts or any issues. Your Honor, may I speak to the courts? There are so many various issues people might have at different times of the court proceeding. I believe these issues could be, I believe if these issues could be resolved between client and counsel, then there wouldn't be a problem. But that's not always the case. I'm only going to speak right now because this is my only opportunity to address the court during the closing of this trial, which is kind of too late for me. Even if you do ask your attorney to ask certain questions, sometimes things don't get done. I have a speech that I would like to address the courts with if the judge allowed me the opportunity to say the following. Let me address the facts about everything regarding my case. First, I want to know if I can quote case numbers or just saying the same, either or will be fine to me. Where is the justice in the judicial system, and how do you beat a system that is against you that's not playing fair? When I was in Clinton County Jail, I remember 2 detectives coming to charge me with this case. I remember the female detective saying, we're going to make you look like a monster when this is over. That statement was made during my initial report. Who is they? That's the $1 million question that will arise a little later further in this reading. I'm only going to speak facts. To be honest, I was already found guilty before this case and trial already began. I can see it as racial profiling behind my background. I'm saying this because how everything played out from the beginning all the way up to now. I contemplated over the moves that the state used to hinder my character to fit their benefits. First, they blast my name widespread coverage negatively nonstop on the news, in the papers, and all over social media, and even on posters. This made me vulnerable towards animosity towards the public and guaranteed people to have a bad image of me in their thoughts. So if I chose a jury trial, this pretty much polluted their thoughts about the type of person they wanted to image me as. And all this went global for their support. Now I'm guaranteed not to get a fair jury selection for trial, and even if I And if I chose a bench trial, it would be sealed with a guilty verdict. So where is the equal liberty and justice in the system when you're being railroaded by the police, the detectives, and others working hand in hand? It really don't take no rocket scientist to see through this magnetic picture. Through these series of events, I know I've been railroaded, so either way, the state had the odds in their favor. The state produced 900 exhibits offered into evidence. I can honestly say I've only seen 35 exhibits before this trial, but I was given 665 exhibits during trial to have for my records. I never had the opportunity to look over 90% of any of this for preparation for trial, but this includes footages as well. So this is what the courts have to offer me. All this was new to me during trial, but I believe the 700 exhibits offered was the shortcut. I believe there are others that the state didn't provide, allowing the defendant preparation for trial by deception by deception. So once again, where is the equal injustice in the judicial system when you're told you can't speak, especially when you see the state ain't playing fair? I do remember being transferred from Davenport to Clinton County Jail behind the bad publicized coverage. I remember a couple of things taking place while I was being there. First, I asked for a change of venue behind the negative news. I also made the comment, man, they're never going to find her because it's been quite some time. As the time progressed, that even made it even slimmer. I also was going to represent myself because all the attorneys that the state was providing wasn't doing nothing in my case. So I just wasn't about to do nothing as well. So I at least was going to try to attempt pro se. When I seen the judge, he made the comment saying, I have no problem opposing this time on you. You need to reconsider your decision because you're facing some real serious charges. When I seen the look in the judge's eyes, I knew then I had to get a jury trial. But through the news coverage and the news confirming this video, I know I had to get a jury trial, but through the news press coverage confirming this verdict with the high profile in this murder case. So my chances of winning even with a jury trial was slim, and if you don't have the right attorney, it's even slimmer. I was told by a birdie that if you have this case heard in any remote area where this is being televised, you would be found guilty, and this was by the state's own officials that uphold the laws. So once again, where's the equal liberty and justice for the system for all? This racism do run deep in the Iowa system for people of color, which I'm not only talking blacks. I know whites also have the same problem as well, but it's more common for the people for men of color. But the profile racism that I'm dealing with is behind my background, and almost 75% of their news coverage they mention my background or something in regards of that nature. If I didn't have that, I would have never got charged. When I was in Marshall County before this trial began, here they go again, sliding negative news coverage of my background a week or so before my jury selection was about to begin. I said something to my attorney, which all he said was, there's nothing we can do about that. I made my mind up that if they're not going to play fair and I can't get a fair jury selection, I should just take my case back to Davenport. Once I was transferred to Cedar Rapids County Jail, before my trial, the day of my trial, here they was again mentioning my name on the news again. I really don't know a lot about the laws, but I know enough when I see a lot of my constitutional rights being violated from the beginning up to now. Through this racial profile, the state and others have shown ambiguous behaviors that sought constantly through these drawn lines. But what can you do when you're told you're not allowed to speak? I can only play with what's provided by the courts and the state's rules. Me and my family tried to contact my attorney on several different occasions, which I was told that he was working on the other client's case. To you, Judge Latham, you handpicked my attorney. I went through 3 different attorneys, but the handpicked one was my last option. I'm not going to bash my counsel because I know he personally did more than the Davenport public pretenders. But I know he overlooked some things in my case. I'm not quite understanding how I wasn't given 665 exhibits or seen any footages before this trial. He did make me believe he was going to raise these issues, but I never seen nothing come forward. I've asked several times, but was told you have nothing to worry about. I was being bamboozled by the blind side while nothing was being introduced or brought to the surface. I really don't know if this would have made a difference because the judge was just looking for any reasons to get this verdict. I can truly say after hearing the judge's remark and while I was in Clinton and Cedar Rapids, the judge's demeanor spoke real clear to me of the courts, which made me realize that I never had a chance to win from the beginning. So once again, where is the justice in the judicial system when you see the judge in his own personal emotion, then you hear the judge say that everything made against you, he find credible, then tell you everything you said is a lie and untruthful, even when they know they lied. I do understand the power of the pen, especially when the power of authority is being abused behind watchful seers. I do wish situations were different, but the state has played dirty when they know they didn't have anything on me while I was their easiest target behind my background. I would have to say this is overwhelming, but I have to stay focused and grounded. I have more hurdles that I have to jump through, but I have to take things one step at a time. For those who believe this fight is over, guess what? Through my resilience, you will see me at the next checkpoint, God willing. My main focus is getting back home, but where is home after all this? Where is home? But right now, I have to stay focused on what's more important. I'm only able to play with what's provided by help from those who are watchful seers as well. I know the court has played unfair towards me. I played this scenario numerous times in my head trying to figure this out, but I keep coming up with the same answer. You never had a chance from the beginning. So I say this to you, Judge Layden. What if you wouldn't have never found me guilty and found me innocent? What would have been the outcome from their perspective? Everybody have to report to somebody, but God is God is the final ultimate judge. I do forgive those who made past judgments against me unknowingly. Never once have the courts asked me about anything of the clothing or the shoes or during any of these allegations. I honestly believe that these items are not important, but it was just giving the state more ammunition to point a finger negativity towards me. Just like me not opening Andrea's door with my key to allow the police to walk into her residence. I don't have them rights for that. I don't pay no bills at her apartment to allow anyone access to her place. I didn't give no approval for her place for that. I didn't give no approval for a place that's not my place of authority to do. On the footage, I told him I checked, and he said, "Let's check." And then lied and said I told Andrea, and then he lied and said I said it was okay for him to go into Andrea's house. But I will have to say the video do speak for itself. I will have to say there was one person's statement that was consistent from the initial report to deposition to trial, and that was Miss Gardner, Aisha's mom. I do recall her talking to Aisha before I left with the kids, or I would have never left with either kid. I'm still stumped about 900 exhibits plus, and I'm saying plus because I've only received 700 and the state knows that the ones that would have set me free, they used deception and sabotagement, but made a mistake by giving me 665 exhibits during trial to go through and decipher through after trial. I know I was given 665 because I counted them, which I've already had 35 before this trial, and which gives me 700 in total, except for the ones I gave my attorney when the state moved them exhibits to move things into mobile to fit their exhibits. I need that letter back, Chad, if you don't mind, the one that I gave you pertaining to Aisha. If I had 120 footage of video with 80% showing nothing, I can make a story up about any vehicle or make anything appear where I want it to be, especially if I'm able to take what I want to produce and the rest of it, produce the rest where, let's see, oh, my bad. Especially if I don't want to. Okay, and not produce the rest where nothing else is being presented, but what I want the world to see. I know that they didn't give my attorney that information as well. I'm the one who said that I went to the quick shop, which was used against me. I'm the one who said that me and my son stopped by the mobile, which was used against me. If I would have got on the stand, you would have probably found a reason to use that against me as well. The only reason why you didn't use my son's statements saying he seen me kill his sister, it would have made every lie truthful. It would have made everybody lies untruthful, which you couldn't have that. So I say once again, where is the justice and equal liberty in the system? Why wasn't Andrea's initial statement video played? They played mine, they played Aisha's, they played DL's, and they played Jared's. I know the state, I know and the state know that Andrea's initial video recording says something totally different. That's why they didn't show them contents or produce that video, which I'm not quite understanding why my counsel didn't bring that forward as well. I'm not even sure if he even had that information because I've never seen any footages but what the public saw during trial. I can speak for days about what happened, but since my attorney didn't bring up any issues on motion, what are my chances now? Even Jared's statement are twisted up. But like I said, anything the court can use to find his verdict guilty. There it is, right there in the eyes of the public, racial profiling. When I was given them exhibits, I wrote the court during I wrote the court during this trial saying, with urgent attention, quoting case documents, law from the Iowa Law Book of Iowa Rules of Criminal Procedure, stating the following item and its reasons, but once again, it was overlooked by saying, I'm going to give both parties that information. You have to talk with your attorney. I know I'm not allowed to put case numbers, but I sent the statement of the following items of evidence in possession or control are necessary for preparation for the defendant to inspect copies, photos, or exhibits that the state intend to offer into evidence at trial or belonging to the defendant. From the law book, I sent consequences of failure to make disclosure of discovery, failure to disclose supplements or of early responders to admit, failure to disclose or supplement. If a party fails to provide information or identify a witness as required by the Rule 1.5, the party is not allowed to use that information or witness to supply evidence on a motion or at a hearing or at a trial, unless the failure was substantially justified or harmless. It also says, if in disclosure of expert testimony, if a party must disclose to the other party of any witness, it is also expert testimony. A party must disclose to the other party identity of any witness the party may use at trial to present evidence under rules of evidence, saying any exhibits that will be used to summarize or support the opinion. I also sent grounds for vacating or modifying judgment and material evidence newly discovered which could not be reasonably diligently have been discovered and produced at trial with official comments and Act 1943 federal practice. I'm only able to do what I can just to be rejected or overlooked once again by everybody. When you ask your counsel when will certain things be brought up, and he tells you through other witness, but it's misleading of your counsel when he knows that the state is going to rest and there is no more witness to raise the issue, but he tells you different. But you are now allowed to speak during trial. My dearest son, you know I love you with all my heart. I know everybody distorted your thoughts where you're trying to figure things out in your own head. I'm sorry that you had to deal with all this abuse from those who made you lie about all these stories. I know you remember me, you and Bree counting money on the mattress up to $2,000. I was so proud of you because you was a fast learner. I know you are mad because you believe I lost your sister, but guess what? Your dad ain't mad at you behind the lies. I love you more than the lies. I know one day you will tell the truth, but even if you don't, I'll still love you regardless. Ms. Culberson, I also respect your initial report in your deposition, but somewhere along this course, your whole story changed like 360. I'm not sure what took place or what type of situation you might be in, but something made you spiral from out of the normal. You know I've never been violent towards you or showed any aggression. I've only been protective of you. That's why I was kind of surprised by the statements you made, which kind of had me thrown off the loop. Just please give my things to my family, and I'll leave it at that. Aisha, you said something in your deposition that caught my attention. You said you wrote me 15 letters from the beginning of this case. Well, it's sad to say, but I believe I might have only got 2 letters that slipped through the cracks that they didn't catch. They took them letters before I even had a chance to receive them. That was their intentions, to have you turn against me. That way it makes it easy for them to point a finger. I even gave this letter to my attorney. But the only time I was able to contact you, and that's when I was in Clinton, I text you. I know you remember because you kept asking me, who is this? I never said who I was. I even text your mom number as well. I will have to say your initial and depositions are totally different from your trials, straight the opposite, which I know them people played a factor as well in that. So just for the records of the court, I wasn't in any shape prepared in addition for this trial. My resilience will continue to keep me focused and peaceful during these hard moments. I do have determination that through these challenges, I believe in the very definition of faith. My faith ignites hope in my heart to overcome these trials and tribulations. Right now, I'm the underdog rising through these misfortunes. I have to stay strong through this predicament. My God taught me failure isn't final. Your fight is only over when you throw in the towel. What initiate champions? The Almighty. My endurance is built strong like never before. My joy is beyond any experience I ever imagined. I will overcome this. I am encouraged that a power far beyond my physical ability will appear and give me spiritual armor through this fight of lies with truth that will set me free.
Okay, before we go on to the mom where she speaks about her part, I thought I had it up here. Hold on, let me see if it's on my other tab. I don't see it. Okay, hold on, because the son gave when they also had played in a different video the son when it was fresh on his mind before he had to testify in court. And like Miss K was saying, so Miss K was saying that the son said he had smelled the bleach. For the things I remember the son was said was that his dad, this guy, was saying, I'm taking us fishing, but the son was like, I never saw fishing poles. He just kept saying we're going fishing. So, obviously her remains were found by the pond. And also, he said at one point they were in different sleeping areas and he saw his dad with Breasia and he was kind of upset because, and I'm sorry, again, this whole thing has been a trigger warning. So you already know what I'm inferring when I say this, but basically he was, he thought his dad was playing with Breasia, but his dad wouldn't play with him. Like, he couldn't see what his dad was doing, but he's thinking just the siblings getting more attention than him type thing. So there was a few things that the son definitely did say. Now, unfortunately, the son did admit that no, he didn't actually see his dad pow his sister. He said he admitted he was saying that because he was angry at his dad because he knew that his dad had hurt his sister. So it was a lot in there, that because when the son got older and testified, that's when the son said he saw his dad pow his sister, but he also admitted on the stand that he did not actually see that, but he would say whatever to make sure his dad went away for hurting his sister. So yeah, so it's a lot. We're gonna go to her mom. I'm gonna read this real fast. His son was able to take to the police to where the car got stuck. Okay. April said, what rights does he even have to speak? Listening to him is just added trauma for the family. Right. Paper Chase said, this mofo has never mentioned Breasia. It's all about him. He's a narc. Constance says, he's saying all this for what? How did anyone get in? Or how did the baby get out of the apartment? It wasn't a mansion. Right. Because he definitely, as he's been convicted of, it was him. I think that, and the mom's about to kind of go into it. I think he knew he was going to get caught for what he did to Breasia, already being a prior SCX offender, and I think he was trying not to get caught with that, and then it escalated to this. That's my opinion, but we're gonna go to the mom now. Whew, hold on, y'all. Okay, let me change my settings.
State your name and spell your name for my corporate.
Okay, my name is Aisha, spelled Aishia, Langford, Lankford. All right. Your Honor, my name is Aisha Langford, as I said before, mother of Breasia Terrell. Before I continue, I'd like to thank the court for providing me the opportunity for me to speak today. July 9th, 2020, exactly 3 years ago, since the last time I saw my baby girl, when I dropped her clothes off for her in DL after I got off work and showered and headed over to the Jersey Ridge Apartments complex. Once I got outside the complex, Breasia running out, smiling as she always does, a smile that can light up a room, any room. We spoke for a few minutes while she held her dog, Chloe. She said she loved me, and I watched her run around to the apartment complex while her lovely locks bounced away around 6:30-ish. Those are my last words with my baby girl. So I wrapped my mental around her face. Her last words, she said to me, the amount of pain I felt and feel that no mom should ever have to feel, because man, that stuff hurts real bad in a different spot. I didn't even know it existed until you, Henry Dinkins, changed that for me. Broke my trust and emotions I had the day you took my baby girl from me and just gunned her down like she was nothing and left her and never said a word at all. It's really painful that a statement could bring so much anger. I have a number of questions for you, Henry Dinkins, surrounding that night that played through my mind every day. Did she want me? Was she scared? Did she see those gunshots coming? Did you shoot her while she was trying to get away? Did she scream for help? Did she beg you to stop? Did you see in her face when she realized she was shot the first time? What was her last words? Did you stay and watch my baby die? How long did she suffer? Did you watch the life leave from her beautiful hazel eyes? What did you do to my son? Why? Do you know the answers to any of these questions I asked, huh? Henry Dinkins, why you sit in this courtroom as if this shit don't hurt you? Watching you during these proceedings. That isn't right. You sit there with smiles and chatter during sensitive things and then try to speak to me when you never once spoke to me after July 14th, 2020. You remember. When I saw you in Scott County Jail telling me you didn't do this, but why you haven't said nothing then? Why? Henry Dinkins, closure doesn't exist here in this case. Justice doesn't exist here in this case. You didn't just take away my baby's life. You didn't just take away my baby's life. You took away everything from me. My family's sense of security, laughs, health, and potential. Potential for Breasia to be someone's wife. The potential to be a mother, a college graduate, prom, everything. Oh, my baby girl, Henry. I went from believing I wasn't the best mom, but made things happen, but best I could, to downing myself day in and day out as, what kind of person am I not to have protected my daughter? I've broken myself down many a times, over and over, analyzing text messages, calls, and conversations about everything, trying to figure out what I could have done differently. I watched my oldest son completely lose his childhood and be the cast of being the man of the house for me, because I was truly broken the day I got the call stating they found my daughter. I'll never forget, March 22nd, 2021, around 7:30 p.m. So they told me they had information I have been waiting on. So that night my tummy was in knots and all I did was cry, and I held my pillow so tight trying to hurry the nightfall so I could get up so I could rush the kids to school and get on the highway near DeWitt, March 23rd, 2021. Once I got out there, it was a feeling I can't even describe, because it was the snuggle on my heart. Mentally, I was going insane because that was a different feeling in my body I wasn't used to. I kept myself covered from the media footage that was other, while I shed so many tears inside because I couldn't describe that. My daughter laid behind those squad cars and big RV man. I couldn't do nothing to save her. All I got a glimpse of. All I got was a glimpse of a damn blue bag, man, that crushed my whole soul. I promise, broke me down, and still am. And my son commit to every hurt need I need, and still does. I watched my youngest baby. Become unrecognizable. At times, with the amount of anger he sits and holds to from this trauma you put him through, he's so hurt he has no idea how to even understand or even cope with the loss of his best friend, partner in crime, his sister, who helped him through so much of his life. He would too overcome this and gain himself back and be somebody. He would not be what you had put him through or even made him sit through. We are suffering from so much, with anxiety and depression at the top of our list. I can't work at times because all the trauma on top of the world of things I encounter at most jobs, the social media crap, pushed me into a shell I haven't been able to shake quite yet. Our lives changed. 3 years went past us with no stops, right before our eyes. And here we are in this courtroom seeking the justice she deserved, so she could be laid to rest properly. Still yet, this all feel like a movie. I haven't changed the channel to, because this can't just be it. Like, that's all. That's the piece that sinks in and still hurt, because I thought hearing you get a life sentence with no possibility of parole will help me sleep at night. And it just doesn't, because she didn't have to be gunned down like that, nor left like that, out there like she was just trash. She didn't deserve that. She didn't deserve to have her lifeless remains shown across the TVs. Like she did. She did it, Henry Dinkins. So whatever you get won't be enough, because your family get to come to see you. And my baby is just that, just gone, and never, ever, ever coming back, as she left me July 9th, 2020. Peace, understanding, and forgiveness will never come. I also truly hope what you did to her will haunt you for the rest of your life. I'll hold on to those good memories we shared, and not how you left her, and how she laid across that damn creepy swamp place thing where you left her and said not one word. How could you? How could you be such a monster, Henry? I am thankful for the justice for Breasia Terrell and my baby boy.
The court made its decision based on all the evidence that was presented in this case. The court's ruling was based on facts. I find no legal basis to grant any of the defendant's motions for judgment or acquittal or new trial if that was the intent of some of his statements as a pro se motion. Because the defendant was found guilty of 2 Class A felonies, this court has no discretion on what the sentence shall be imposed. Rather, life imprisonment is mandatory. The court notes, however, that the defendant has an adult criminal record dating back to 1989. This history, coupled with the horrific nature of these offenses against his own child's sister, requires that this defendant be removed from society for the protection of society. This sentence provides for both punishment and for protection of the community. Mr. Dinkins, it's unconscionable that you would take such actions to murder a 10-year-old child who was entrusted to your care. It is very clear to this court that you have no conscience or remorse for your actions. You blatantly lied about trying to find Breasia. You took no legitimate actions to find her. You knew exactly where she was. Due to your extensive criminal history and the fact that you removed Breasia from the place that you were authorized to care for her, and then take Breasia to a dark, deserted area in the country and shoot her in such a horrific manner, supports the finding that the sentences to be imposed on both counts 1 and 2 shall be served consecutively. Mr. Dinkins, pursuant to this court's finding you guilty on September 15th of 2023 of murder in the first degree in violation of Iowa Code Section 707.1, paren 1, paren A, and as provided by Sections 902.1, it is the judgment and sentence of this court that you be committed to the custody of the Iowa Department of Corrections for the rest of your natural life without the possibility of parole. Pursuant to this court's finding you guilty on September 15th, 2023 of kidnapping in the first degree in violation of Iowa Code Section 710.2, and as provided by Iowa Code Section 902.1, it is the judgment and sentence of this court that you be committed to the custody of the Iowa Department of Corrections for the rest of your natural life without the possibility of parole. DNA sampling will be required. Each of these counts will be served consecutive to one another for the reasons stated earlier. The Iowa Medical and Classification Center is designated as a reception center to which you shall be delivered by the sheriff. Pursuant to Iowa Code Section 910.3B1 in paren 1, you are ordered to pay to the heirs of Breasia Terrell, and as noted by the county attorney to Aisha Langford, $150,000. Mr. Freeze, do you wish to address Category B expenses at this time?
Well, I believe that given Mr. Dinkins' status presently and going forward, I certainly is it qualified for Category B expenses.
Ms. Cunningham, do you wish to address the court on this matter?
No, Your Honor, and the state would not resist the court entering that finding.
Based on that, the court will find that Mr. Dinkins is indigent and does not have the reasonable ability to pay Category B expenses.
Okay, y'all, I wish there was somewhere to go with this, but I don't know where to go on stories like these. For one, I told y'all I would make sure it's clear when I'm going to talk about something like this, so you don't come in on a different moment and then stuff like this is sprung onto you. So for you that have come in and stayed, and some that have come in but couldn't do the whole thing, I definitely understand. So as y'all see, he's had a history since 1989, and this is where I hope the mom never sees my video. I'll put it that way, because it's not to pile onto her. It's the fact that I do need parents to be more discerning about their children and what happens to their children, because from the chat that I was trying to catch up in and everything too, was that, okay, at first maybe the mom didn't know she was staying the night that time. But again, he said he helped raise her from a baby. So he was around her in at least 2 of those years of her life. And then the mom went to drop clothes off that night to them. And I just, someone with that history, they just can't be around my child. And I know she already had she had a child with him. Life is complicated. And this is just a cautionary story, because I just need parents to be overly protective when it comes to stuff like that, especially the overnight stuff. Like if I ever decided not to be a child-free couple, I know I could not ever do overnights for my child. Like, there's just no way. There's no way. But yeah, I don't know how to that was the last video clip I have to show y'all of this story. And I'll try to keep stories like this separate because they are so jarring, and I was prepared because I'm already watching it. Sometimes some are going to hit me in different ways to where I don't even know if I'm be able to do it, but most times for these, I said I would talk about missing girls and women that were, taken out by these type of men, because they don't always get the same coverage and everything. I know this one happened to be a more, I guess, high profile trial, but I did this one. This one specifically is for my little sis here for hot tea for sure. But I definitely I need parents to just, not when they have a history in black and white, like, goodness gracious. Yeah, this is a lot. I don't have a good way to do this one. I don't know the next time I'll see y'all live, because normally I'm not supposed to be back live till Friday. We'll see. I'm not sure, but either we'll have more of the women and missing girls in a pre-recorded or live later on. But I do appreciate y'all, because this is just not going to be watched like some other topics. It's just not. So I do appreciate y'all for being here and filling in the gaps of what some of the stuff I didn't know about the case too. And I tried to watch as much as I could, but unless you sit down and watch the whole, like, the case, like if it's 1 or 2 hours of footage per day and stuff like that, unless you do that, you won't see everything. So thank y'all that did watch the full thing and were filling in the gaps in the chat. I definitely appreciate you. You helped me out a lot. Wordsmith said, I agree, Trinity. I don't play about my boys, and there's no sleepovers due to my past as a young girl. Exactly, Wordsmith. Exactly. Drea said, I don't think she knew. She herself was probably groomed by him since 16, 17. He was significantly older than her. I think there's something in the black community where Uncle Ray Ray is protected. Yeah, now that is true as well. I do wonder, because it is different for everybody. I think that's why, in hindsight's always 2020. I think that's why you can't even do it, honestly, because maybe she didn't find out about his history till later. And with her being significantly younger than him, I could see that. Cherie said, we don't do overnight. We have to be careful on some family matters. Yeah. Yes, we do. Yeah. Well, who was Miss Z talking about? Let's see. Hold on. Goodness. Oh, your sister lost her son. Gotcha. Oh, goodness. Yeah, prayers to families that's continually going through these tragedies. Unfortunately, it's just it's heavy. There's just nothing to do but to bring awareness, because it's just heavy. Drea said that's one of the reasons. Oh, she wasn't charged with child endangerment. Okay. Thank you, Drea. Thank you. Yeah, I hope that y'all watch your favorite cartoons or whatever lifts you up spiritually, whether that is that you'll just go back into praying or whatever you do to lift your spirits back up. Because on these, that's why I don't understand how psychiatrists and psychologists, how they do it, because how do they hold on to these things? I don't even know. But yeah, please go do something to lift your spirits back up after something like this. because it's very, very heavy. All right, so I linked the law and crime video that kind of puts a lot of it together and gives testimony more about that mud. You get to hear her brother not testify, but give his account like soon after that night, things like that. I'll link that video in the description box. All right, y'all. So I will see you soon, hopefully. And I will talk to y'all later. I definitely appreciate your presence. I can't say that enough. All right, y'all. See you later. Bye.
I've been taking my time. 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 Taking all of your time.